Our next question is coming from Sally Prescott. Your line is live.
Hi. First, I want to briefly say that I think Diane does an excellent job. She's one of the most helpful IR people that I've ever contacted, and I've been investing for 25 years. But I wanted to mention this about the FDA and small cap stocks. It's not so much, the FDA has been like this for 25 years. They're very arrogant about all that they do, especially with small cap companies. With large and big pharma, they let them put drugs out that they have to warn they'll kill you on Tuesday if you take it on Friday and all this kind of silly stuff. They let them get by with murder almost. And small companies have to beg and keep them on the hook for years, with all these tests. And sometimes, they will tell them one way to do a trial, and like one company I know, after it was all over and they met all the points, efficacy and everything else, safety, they said, no, we want you to do more now because one guy on the panel decided that. You have to go to Congress and the Senate. We once got some hearings against the FDA for maltreating a company in this manner, and the head, Senator Bennett, who was not allowed to run for re-election, I think he's from Utah, he got all over the FDA and the SEC both for things that they do. And companies have to go to their Congress and Senate, and the investors have to contact them and tell them that if American small business is stymied by the FDA and the SEC or anybody else, any of these agencies, for these nitpicking reasons, which they have many times been done, this company will never grow because big business is putting a lot of their stuff overseas where the small farmers are here in this country helping this economy and creating jobs and helping to find cures and better medicine. On the low drain, I hope you put it over the counter. Most companies are doing it. Is that possible? You may have mentioned that earlier. I missed part of this call, but could you just take the low drain and put it over the counter? I'd love to know that.
That's, ECR is the partner, they're part of High Tech. And that's really their decision and, what their plans are. I mean, they have said they're pursuing NDAs for this. I don't think they've been specific about exactly what they're doing. In fact, it's not like it's really for us, even though we're working with them. It's really for them to disclose exactly what they're doing.
But I will tell you, because it's a matter of public record, an OTC monograph does exist for Pyramine and pseudoephedrine, which are components of Locating. So you take
right.
One.
Right, but there were other companies that were affected by this decision. Did you see the list of them?
There's a large number. It's 500.
Yeah, they were large. So all those companies should get together, go to Congress and say, we want a hearing on this. Why are they taking this off when they're allowing drugs on there that say that they can kill certain gene types? People with certain gene types.
I asked that.
Really?
Because, I'm the type of person, I have no problems in front of Congress screaming and then call them all names.
Right. Raise Cain on it. And just demand to know why they took this. I think you should get more of an answer about the low drain. I think that was a low blow on the low drain, okay? And I think you should really find out why they did it. All these other companies, I think there were 12 companies that were hurt by this. You all ought to gang up together and write a letter and whatever. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Our next question is coming from Richard Bloom. Your line is live.
Yes, thank you. My question concerns the ANDAs, the one that you have filed for the generic, as well as the 8 under the EPIC agreement, and I think you disclosed that you have one filed already under that agreement. Can you give any sort of timetable as to for your ANDA when you might expect to hear from the FDA on that, and also for the 7 ANDAs that are pending under the EPIC agreement, any sort of timetable as to when you expect to file those?
has to do with regulatory review, and those are variable. But I can tell you that the ANDA we filed was filed last year, so it's probably the closest to some review actions by the FDA. The one filed under the Ethic Alliance Agreement by Ethic was this year, so it's still, got pretty much the full review period in front of it.
And the other 7, is there any sort of timetable as to when you expect to file those?
No, I think, we don't really talk about them too much until we actually, reach a milestone for competitive reasons. And it's also a question of, us balancing, we're not working on all of them now and all of them together. It's a question of balancing them versus our other priorities. So, we haven't set any timetables on any of those, Richard.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just one more question on the new manufacturing agreement with Mike for the 2 products, and with that undisclosed large pharma that you mentioned. Do you plan to add any additional products under that agreement with Mike and that pharma and that generic pharma company?
Yeah, if we do, obviously, then we'll publicly disclose it at that time. So, I mean, it's possible, but obviously there's not we would have disclosed it if we'd already done it. So it's kind of like Jerry was saying, any agreement's not done until it's signed. It's possible, but certainly we will disclose if or when, if it ever happens.
All right. Thank you very much, and we all appreciate your hard work.
Thank you.
Next question. Our next question is coming from Walter Lomack. Your line is live.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think Chris and Carter both had mentioned the facility's expansion. Is that on site at the existing facility, or is that something new?
Down the street.
Down the street. Okay. And I think Carter had mentioned that it was paid for, and it kind of takes me aback. I was going to ask a little bit about the New Jersey Economic Development bonds, if that's high on your radar as far as the defaults there and what could happen to that.
Well, we have. Let me explain the default. The default is twofold. We have been paying the interest due on those bonds by utilizing the restricted cash accounts.
Right.
And whatever money came out of the restricted cash account has been replenished in accordance with the loan agreement. So we're allowed to do this, and we've been following those terms and replenishing the restricted cash account. Although utilizing the cash account, even if we do repay it, is a technical default on the bonds. So, the bondholder, the trustee issued the notice, the legal notice. There were principal payments which were due September 1st of last year, of 2010, which were not paid, and a notice of default was issued for that. We have submitted a proposal to the bondholders, which we're allowed to do. We're allowed to request up to 5 years deferment of principal payments in accordance with the bond documents. We have requested a 3-year deferment, and we're awaiting a response on that right now. So that's where we stand. The restricted cash account has been utilized, but fully replenished.
Right.
Just waiting for an answer to our proposal.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.